Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna show you how to sharpen this scissor. More specifically, this is a dog barber scissor. You can tell by like the little logo here with the paw and the pet engraving in here. This is a dog barber scissor made for dog barbers like poodles or something like that, where they get the nice haircuts because they got a very thick fur. And they have very specific scissors. A lot of them are bent like this because I guess dogs are round, their bodies, and this is easier for them. I got this one because it's damaged. It doesn't work anymore. Now, while it does cut pretty well, if we use this, as advertisement paper, I like to test it. I get a nice cut, but however, you can even hear it. When I use it, it gets caught, and in the reflection here, you can see right here where my fingernail is, some small nicks. No major damage in here, but there are several small nicks along the edge that, just got in by, maybe it's got dropped or like it got bent and, cut into itself or whatever. And we need to remove them because while this is like the tension is set very, very low on this one, it's extremely uncomfortable to use. It takes a lot of effort to push it past the nicks, and it's not very good. Your barber scissor shouldn't be like that. What do we need in terms of tools here? Now the disassembly on this particular one is toolless. There's the little knob here which you can turn by hand. And for sharpening, I got two tools. I got a fine DMT diamond stone here, the little handheld one. A fine one should be okay because there's no major damage. But you do need a diamond stone for this and also for the other side because it holds its shape. This is an extremely difficult shape to do by hand, and you do not want to change anything about its geometry because otherwise, if there's, imagine if there's a little low spot somewhere, there's no chance you're getting it back out. So you need to be really careful. Only use diamond tools because they stay flat. This one is going to be, if I open it, for this side. And for the other side, this top radius is too sharp. Then you can see light through here. Here you can see it. This radius is too sharp for this one to work. So unfortunately, we need to use our little DMT cone sharpener and just do it like this. They're not disassembled. Make sure to keep all the little screws in like a magnetic thing because it's just way too easy to lose them. And so let's start off with the easy side to get our muscle memory in. I found this, there are probably some kind of visors where you can hold these, but I just found that propping them up on something like this, like the wooden handle on my leather strap, it just works well enough and I can adjust them. If you would do this in a vise, it would need like perfect alignment in order to work properly. Zoom in a bit closer. And now let's take a look. The actual edge starts here. This is where both of the sides meet. I think I'm just gonna start right there. So I'm overlapping it a little bit and then start sharpening. Try to hold it as flat as possible while going across it. This is the most difficult part of it. Find a spot where I'm holding it comfortable, and then I'm just sharpening it like this. I'm using a bit of water because I don't really need to see what I'm doing, and I would like it. I would want a nice sharpening quality and for it to take all the grit away. After a bit of sharpening, you can see we are starting take off material. You can really see the hollow. It's got a very, very deep hollow grind. This is usually the sign of a very high quality scissor because very cheap ones will just, have a little bit of a hollow grind in here, if at all. But this one is very, very deeply ground. But you can see, especially at the tip, we are flattening this out. This is just, it was already broken and this is just necessary to restore it. But if you look at the reflections, there are some small nicks right here. Other than that, it doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna give it a few more passes on this side, then start off with the other one and see how it feels. Now we're starting with the much harder side. You can see I did just a tiny bit of sharpening just to test if this one works. It should work. It's the same principle as with the other side, just you have to be more careful to only do a movement like this and not like this. With the other one, it's still not good. You still should avoid it, but with this one you will immediately put a very deep gouge in it. So just avoid it and just go lengthwise. Now let's give them a few passes on the leather strap. This is very, very helpful with scissors, I found. If you have some where you're not quite happy that they are cutting, try this one first, because sometimes just giving them a tiny bit of work and a few passes on the leather strap will restore them. In this case, there was actual damage and that can't be taken out, but sometimes it just needs a little bit of work. Also, some people, there's a bit of a debate. How much pressure should you use? Can you actually, destroy the sharpening angle? With this one, where I don't have a very heavy burr and I'm using extremely fine paste to polish it, I'm, not that careful with the angle. If you are using some, there are some diamond stropping compounds, then, I would probably be a little bit more careful, but, just put it flat here and give it a few on the back side. And I can feel this one, if it doesn't work as a scissor anymore, at least you can use it as a, as a razor blade, because this is extremely sharp. I've now reassembled them. They're looking pretty good. When you reassemble these scissors, especially barber scissors, which are, very delicate, the way I go about it, you put, all the screws back together. Then, when you're doing this tensioning, when you open the scissors, there's obviously a lot of play in them, which is normal. Do not tension the screw while it is like this, because what you can actually do, because now the scissors, they're bent together. They are hitting each other, both of the halves. If you tension them like this too much, what can happen, as soon as you close it, you're going to damage it, because there's so much tension on the blade that they are going to cut into each other. So tension them while they are like this, therefore that way you cannot really over tension them. And then my kind of philosophy is use as little tension as possible so that they will still cut. Because with a barber scissor, you're doing a lot of this. You do not want this to be more exhaustive than actually necessary. I'm gonna put some, some silicone oil in here, which makes them even lighter. But when I'm, taking my advertisement paper now, I can take them. These are right-handed scissors. This is also something that you need to worry about. If you have left or right-handed scissors, use them in the individual hand, because that, changes which of these handles is connected to which blade. This is the lower one, this is the upper one, and on a left-handed scissor, they won't work if you use them, or sometimes they won't work if it's, very delicate. And I can, without needing to, with my fingers push them together, I'm just holding it like they normally are. Cut this with very little effort, and there's no point where it's binding. It is one smooth movement. You can even hear it. Gonna listen. It's a very smooth sound, and before that you could actually hear that it was, getting stuck. So that was it for this video. This is a very weird scissor. I just, recently got about them because I had, some people come up to me, asked them if I could repair them, and it is possible. You need to be careful with, as with all scissors. Scissors are, I would say, the most difficult thing to sharpen, because they are easy to mess up to a point where you can't repair them. Even if you mess up on your grinder on a knife, technically you could still, make a smaller knife. Always just take something off with this. There's once you have ruined the geometry, there's no chance. But it is a very fun little challenge. That was it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found these tools interesting. If you did, then consider subscribing and giving the video a like, and then I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.